Right. There. We are almost live everywhere. All right, cool. Yeah, hey everybody, we're live on Twitch, Facebook, and we're doing the 11th day of the 12 days of Catsmas. Here with Rory, we're talking about Israeli production of cats and raising money for cat friends here on Oahu, doing good stuff for cats. So there's a link in the chat and in the description to donate to that. Make a good Christmas for all the cats. And I keep forgetting to say this every day, but if we do hit our donation goal on any particular day, I will post a video of me trying to do the dance choreography to one of the songs, probably Buster for Jones or something.
Oh, how much is the goal?
It's $100. It's not that bad. It was really, it's only $60 more for today, and we'll make it.
Okay. I will try to hit that link up.
Yeah. Or share it with your friends. Whatever. Yeah. Because I find myself doing that a lot as I'm watching these cats. Like I'll get bored, so I'll just stand up and just try to follow along with what's going on screen. Especially during the 9-minute Jellicle Ball. What else are you supposed to do?
I mean, other than get stoned, which I know you can't. So, yeah. Are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. So like, I'm not gonna lie, I've actually seen like a live legit theater do cats.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Curious about that.
Well, it was a lot like this. And I was surprised by, like, like a lot of times you like watch a show and then like the next time you go back and you catch more.
Right. Yeah.
The second time.
Yeah.
Around.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that all week. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not doing that with cats. Like every time I'm getting the same amount of like it must be like every like 15 minutes or so, like right. My mind just like skips out.
Yeah.
And I can't follow it. And it's not like I can't follow it like, oh, this is way too complex, like Inception, like
right.
where I'm just it's just more along the lines,
it's hard to
like,
keep track more than it is anything else.
Yeah.
I think I mean, it's pay attention, I think, is really the thing, because like the Jellicle Ball, that 9-minute unbroken dance sequence, like Dan Connell was telling me that like some of his friends like they're really into it. It tells you a lot about like the relationships between some of these characters and stuff, and you pay attention to who all the different cats are and who they're dancing with and stuff. And I can't remember to pay attention like when that happens. It just takes so long to get there. Yeah.
Like I feel like trying to understand the musical Cats is like trying to understand real cats. Where it's like, I'm sure there's people that can do it, but
right.
At the same time, like, I'm not sure what the payoff is. Like, I feel like, just like with real cats, maybe the musical Cats is something that I'm supposed to just like know exists and be okay with.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just let roam around my apartment every now and again.
I think that's the best way to think about it. It's kind of like, you got to let it be and just enjoy its presence. And when it comes to you, that's great. But when it doesn't, you can't control it or really understand it too much. Because I don't know what you know about the background of Cats, how it was based on a book of just poems by T.S. Eliot that were kind of light.
And
kids
I
reading.
know that Alexander Lloyd Webber was not the first to attempt to put the song into music. He was just the first to successfully do so.
Yeah.
Which, like, I wonder how fucked the first attempts were.
Yeah. So I feel like, because it's just like a bunch of loose songs about cats. So I think people could try to do it in the way that it would just be like, I don't know, like a CD for kids where you just have some songs and it just, it just goes through songs about cats and then no one ever really takes it seriously. I was talking with Ben last night. It feels like during the pandemic when you don't have anything to do, just like watch your cat and just write songs about what you think he's up to. And then you put those songs on Instagram and then it just becomes the biggest musical of all time and makes billions of dollars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing that I try to remember when I'm watching Cats is that the original writer of Cats didn't mean for these bits to
Right.
be strung together. Like these
Yeah.
were like standalone stories about a cat.
Right.
So like me trying to add them together, that's like walking into like a drunk guy's conversation like 10 nights in a row and then
Right.
trying to be like, how do I know this guy? Like it's not ever gonna completely
Right. You got to piece
match
all that
up.
together. Yeah. Even something I was thinking of like the Shel Silverstein books, like Where the Sidewalk Ends or something. That's just a bunch of loose poems, and that's all fun as a storybook for kids. But like, I mean, it's not even a storybook. It's just you just randomly can pick a poem out and
Yeah.
read it to a kid at bedtime. But when you try to put that all together and like, oh, this is some sort of narrative here that you need to follow, then yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think too that trying to take children's stories that are meant as like a standalone thing
Right.
and then run like a solid narrative through it and then then logically as an adult look at that,
right,
that's a losing proposition at
Yeah.
any point in time. Like because it's just the way kids look at the world and the way grown-ups look at the world is completely different.
right,
And if you try to take that, it'll become something like Cats, where it's like some people just like it and other people can't stand it, but nobody really understands it.
right.
Um,
People just kind of like that they don't get it, or they just kind of they like for what it is without trying to get it. Just
yeah.
No, it kind of makes you think of like if somebody tried to make like a gourmet meal for adults, but just out of ingredients that kids like, just like hot dogs and jelly beans or something.
I think I've actually seen that YouTube channel.
Yeah. So I think you see people doing that kind of stuff, and then like they take it overboard, and you can't even tell when you look at the final dish that, oh, this is made out of like chicken nuggets and stuff. Like it just looks like a fancy dish because they just take out all the stuff that makes it fun for a kid.
Yeah. Like you can't just take adult stuff and make it bright colors and like make kids like it, and you can't just take kids stuff and like flash it's just and I think that's kind of the difference though, is like stuff that's for kids, like that's food,
right?
For a certain extent, like I'll still like it. Like I still love chicken nuggets. As an adult, I know that I shouldn't eat them at like a business meeting. But so like, but like with like children's stories, like because I've recently been watching a lot more kids stuff, and there's a lot more of that stuff where I'm like, it's not that I don't think that it's good for a child, but if I have to watch this for another 2 hours, I'll be throwing myself down a flight of stairs. Like, and like kids can just eat that up. And my point is it's not chicken nuggets. Like we can agree on that.
I don't know, baby food or something that's weird to eat as an adult. I don't know. But that's the weird thing about Cats, is that it's like it comes from this kid stuff, but then it's a very much like a grown-up thing. Cause like every play, it's like so like horny and sexy with all the stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's like, and I'm not trying to rag on people that like the musical at all, but I think one of the things that keeps me from being able to like super enjoy it is it's got that infantileness, but it's also got like this strong sexual undercurrent. So the whole thing has like this weird pedophilia feel to me, where like it feels sex or like it's trying to be sexy, but at the same time, it's something that I can't associate with
Yeah,
sex.
right.
So
It's like a woman trying to like do sexy talk, but it's also in a baby voice, and also she's acting like a cat. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, this is weird.
with like a Kmart cat costume. Like
Yeah,
I will say about this production that these, even though like the musical numbers were still horny,
right.
these were some of the least sexualized costumes that
Yeah.
I've seen out of production of Cats, including the Hello Kitty
Russian cats. Yeah,
Russian cat. Yeah. Like
yeah.
a
This
lot
is
of these
interesting.
guys look like they were just wearing sweatpants.
Right.
That match.
Yeah, they
So that was
definitely
interesting.
did different costumes because a lot of the American version I've seen, they all kind of stick close to like what the original costumes looked like with the bodysuits that with like the stripes and the fur look to it and the wigs, the 80s glam rock wigs.
Uh-huh.
Instead, in this one, they just have normal human wigs, and they look real bad on some of the people.
Yeah. I just like it makes me feel weird to be like the thing that I notice first is the costumes.
Mm-hmm.
But like every episode that I've seen of this, like the costumes jump out at me as like this is like because I kept thinking they look like Thundercats, like that 1980s
yeah.
kind of human shaped, but not really like
Right.
detailed in any way.
They have
and
the
then
big hair, but then their faces aren't super fuzzy like in the movie. But yeah, it's like a human face with makeup on it.
It's just it blows me away that this is one of the biggest musicals.
Yeah. I remember seeing that as a kid, just being like, so weird. And also, yeah, at any point, if you ever just took someone out of Cats and just showed me a picture of that person, like, what are they dressed up as? I think Cat would be like the fourth or fifth thing I would think before I get to it. Yeah.
Like, I think the thing that keeps like coming or messing with me about it too is it's like this was created, like the music was created by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who created Phantom of the Opera, which is one of the best musicals ever written. And I don't like musicals, but like of the two musicals that I would sit down and watch virtually any day, it's Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables. Like those are just high quality musicals.
Yeah.
And he wrote this. And then like I watched the second Phantom of the Opera, the sequel he made, and it's equally bad.
Really?
I feel like he struck the one time, and there's just so little competition in the musical market that that's it. He didn't have to really try.
Yeah.
After
that. It's that kind of blank check thing where like after he made it and they just said, okay, well we'll make anything that you write, and he's like, cool, now I got to do what I really want to do. And that's just silly songs about my cat or cats in general.
It's a silly song about somebody else's cats.
Yeah, somebody else's cats.
And it turns out those weren't even his cats. He was just looking out a window, thinking about cats.
Cats be like, yeah.
Like this is what happens in a world without internet. Is that a poet will just be like, "Fuck, I'm gonna write about this cat." And just imagine cat stuff, and then somebody else is like, "This is gold. I'm gonna sing what you wrote. That's it." Like I'm surprised there's not more musicals. Yeah, like I'm just surprised there's not more musicals about people falling down or crashing into things at work. Like
it's The Mailman.
Yeah.
So
I just
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I was just thinking one of the things that really struck me about this particular production we watched, the Israeli one, is that the set itself was like the most minimalist set of any of them, including like the middle school
tiny stage.
Yeah, it wasn't a very big stage either.
Yeah. I did catch that of like, oh, this really looks like it looks like a really small town. Like like, I don't know, maybe I'm not very worldly, but I feel like Israel's been around for a minute. They should
Right.
have like a decent sized theater. Maybe I'm crazy, but
Yeah. It's crazy.
and it's not
I don't
like
get it.
Cats is free. Like it's
Right.
not like,
Mm,
like Shakespeare at a community college kind of thing. Like you
right.
gotta have a decent, like you have to have a decent pull to afford the royalties for this.
Right.
So
I mean, that's where they spend all their money. I don't know. Like I do like stuff that has that like kind of homemade feel, like especially with the costumes and stuff in general. It's just that it really stands out because every other production of Cat seems to be high. They put more into the production value of the show. Like I said,
yeah.
even at the middle school and high school level, you see more. That's very interesting. That really stood out to me, especially like the old Deuteronomy. They just put him in like that silver robe, and then they had like the
Uh-huh.
silver collar thing. So he, with the wig, he just looked like a Martian or something. I could not have guessed he was just a cat. No, I would have
No,
guessed
like
100 things before cat.
I was like, oh, this is like really low rent Gandalf
Right.
cat. Uh, like and that, I guess that's the thing is like when I was watching it, I was like, none of these cats look like somebody that I would write a book of poetry about.
Right.
Like I don't know what that cat would have to look like, but it wouldn't be that.
Yeah.
Um, I will say that I had like one moment of um, like it actually like tugged at my heartstrings a little
Mm.
bit because Griselda, I think is her name.
Oh, Grisabella.
Grisabella, yeah. She came on and I was like, oh, that looks like Carrie Fisher under the makeup. Oh, and then like I had that moment.
Right.
But yeah, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I think I like that they made different choices with the costumes and the wigs, but it definitely stands out and it definitely looks cheap. It's just fun. I like it.
which I mean is great if you're looking for a date at a bar, stands out and looks cheap. But um, I don't know if that's really what I would go for in my
Right.
production.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to know like the backstory of what possessed this theater to put on this show, because like
Yeah, because that's one of the other things I kept thinking about too, is after watching so many productions of Cats, is like it's such a dance heavy show, right? So like most of the actors, they've got those dancer bodies. They spend all that time, rehearsing and dancing and everything. And that's not necessarily the body type you see as much of in this show. People that are a lot more sort of average body sizes, which is interesting. So, but they all did a pretty good job of the dances. So I don't know.
yeah, and I think like I think the thing is, and I don't mean to be crass, but
Right.
when you're watching a show like Cats, it's kind of like when you go to like see like a runway show or something like this,
Right.
where like you expect the people on display to
Mm.
be like, really physically fit or really hot,
Right.
or whatever. And I'm not saying that everybody has to be that,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like that's kind of what this particular thing is about.
Right.
And to see like a bunch of average people doing it, which once again is fine, it just still like catches me off guard of like, if you guys have these dance moves like and this kind of money and this kind of singing, like Guys and Dolls you would have been great
Right.
at.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even catch you, or it wouldn't catch us all off guard that you
Right.
guys are dancing in sweatpants.
Right.
Like, and I guess that's more where I'm coming from on it, is I'm not being like, oh, these ugly people, stop doing this. It's
Right.
more just like this seemed like you were aiming for something that was up here.
Yeah.
And you guys could have been like up here with what with other shows that are
Right.
not as filled with sexual tension as
Yeah.
Cats
Right.
traditionally is. So
Yeah. So I don't think they were setting themselves up for success in that way. So I wonder, like, there's got to have been some decisions in the production and the direction and stuff. It's interesting. I would like to find out more about, because I tried to look up stuff about this, but I wasn't sure if it was the right theater company I looked up. So it just an Israeli theater company or something. So I think that one is like a 600 seat theater that they work out of. So I feel like that's a good sized theater. Like they would have access to more than like a small theater community. They'd have access to more like dancers and things to fill up the
yeah,
cast.
and like part of me wonders if like, because like I feel like we're not the only people that are feel this way about Cats.
Right.
Like maybe like part of it is like if we do really good at this could go on for decades. So
Yeah.
like maybe because like I saw that this was like the last night of it. Maybe just like they start out with like really great costumes and then just never fix anything for like 3 months.
Right.
Just so they can be like, when it's gone, and
Right.
we're not doing it again.
Yeah.
That might be
Maybe that's why
like
there's so little of the set left. Like just keep,
yeah,
things break and fall off.
yeah,
That's
because
supposed
we're
to be
just
a joke.
clawing at it constantly. Like at the beginning of the show, it was young Deuteronomy.
Right.
Like, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't generally go in for this kind of talk, but I feel like Cats is definitely like one of those like phenomenons where it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like that it's as big of a deal as it is. I can't deny that it is a big deal,
Right.
but I don't know why.
Yeah. I think they said it was the longest running Broadway musical, right? And I think I read somewhere like it made over $4 billion or something. So it's like it's working, and I don't know why, and it's very strange, and that's why I find it very intriguing, and I would love to find out why.
I mean, like, part of me feels like there are certain songs in there, like the Moonlight song. Like, I hear a couple of bars of that, and I immediately know what it is.
Right.
And it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't deny that. So all I can think of is that enough people walked out humming it that other people are like, oh, that sounds really good. I'm gonna go check it out. And then like it just kind of earwormed its way into that first billion.
Right.
And then the first billion makes the second. So I don't know where the other two come from.
Yeah. Overseas or something. I don't know. But it's because it is a good song. It's the only song in the whole show that's about the way a character feels and what they want, and that's why it's the only song that kind of really even counts as a song. It was the breakout song of it, the way everyone recognizes as a good song. And I wonder how much of that really did make people go, "Oh, if this song is good and it's from this musical, then this musical must be good." So I always thought Cats must be something like artistic and a thing that fancy people like, because I never watched it until last week.
Okay.
So I didn't really get it. That no, it's just loose songs about cats and people pretending to be cats. There's not a deeper meaning to it.
Yeah. I like because I grew up in the theater. So there's a lot of those that are like artsy fartsy people really like them that I have a different opinion on. But like when I remember first watching Cats being like, this is pushing it even for me. Like I want to say that if the first time I watched a production of Cats, it felt like, oh, this is like the worst version of Shakespeare where enough people didn't understand it, so they decided it was good.
Right.
Because like like I feel like the reason why Shakespeare has such like a high amount of people thinking that it's like high art is because so many people don't really understand that it's all part jokes.
Right. And I think the accent helps. The fact that everyone's doing
Yeah.
an English accent just makes it seem fancy.
That's true. But like this one, it's just like I followed it enough the first time to be like, oh, this is incoherent.
Right.
And I remember clearly the first time that I watched it when we got to the final number, and like in the version I watched, like she got pulled up into the sky.
Right.
And I was just like, wow, this is, that's a long way up.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be hard for her to get around. And then like the lights came up and I was like, oh, it's finally over. Like there's been so little plot here that I didn't even realize that was a climactic moment.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely. I was just thinking last night, the version I watched, the dinner theater version I watched with Ben, that was the one time where they didn't have any elevator or any stairs or anything for her to go up at the end. So they turned on a fog machine, and then she got on all fours and just crawled to the back through the back curtain. That was sad.
She just did she like crawl like a cat, or was it like as like a performer trying to hide under
just trying not to be seen? No, it was like a cat. I think it was a character choice. Yeah.
I mean, that's still great. It's got to be really awkward for that person that's like sitting the closest to the exit of just see her coming.
Right. I was thinking about like why people like cats, and like there's certain times like when there's a couple of times when they're all together just like chanting about like what a Jellicle cat is and the ball and stuff, and it's really creepy and it's weird, and like I don't know why it's in the show, or like why all the ways to do that, like it's just picked in the weirdest, creepiest way, and it dares you to like it. Like I don't know how anybody can look at this like, oh, this is a thing that I like and I think people should be into. Which I think maybe that's good art makes you think that, right? Like, should I even like this? I don't know. Or also bad art always does
that. I feel like a big part of this production is that there is something like of like the sickly taboo. Like it has a very cult feel. It has a very like I was saying earlier, like a weird sexual bad kind of thing to it. That it's like, as much as I talk shit about cats to you, like I wouldn't do it within earshot of that show letting out. It would be like I would feel better about talking about liberal values at a conservative convention than I would talking shit about cats at cats. Like I'm afraid that audience is going to turn feral at any moment.
I wonder, because I feel like Cats is kind of, I've been saying this all week, Cats is kind of like the Cannibal Holocaust of musicals, where it's like, it's sort of a weird badge of honor to say that you like it within that community of like, even horror movie people are like, Cannibal Holocaust, that's too much. That's too much, you guys. So like the people that like it are like, oh yeah, we like it because it's too much, and because we're crazy and we're weirdos like that. I feel like Cats kind of does that same thing. So people, I feel like real Cats fans, who I haven't actually talked to, but I feel like real Cats fans are like, yeah, I like it. It's weird. People hate it, and that's good. You guys are wrong. Cool, come in this minority of people that like cats.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not as familiar with like with the cannibal horror ones, but like all I can think of that's comparable is like, it's like furries. in
Mm,
porn where it's like they're so taboo that they have like a weird badge of honor being like no one votes like us.
yeah.
Like so maybe that's a big part of it, but it just still seems weird to me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that weird if it was just a show, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's the fact that it's the biggest show.
Right.
Like, it's like Pee Wee Herman. It's weird. It gives me a weird vibe to watch it.
Right.
But like, if Pee Wee Herman was like Seinfeld in the '90s, where it's like everybody is really into this, where it's
Yeah.
like it's not so much about what Cats is, it's the fact that there's so many people that are like into it repeatedly.
Right.
That's the thing that gives me a lot of pause.
Yeah.
Just like,
I really want to. I gotta find somebody who's like an unironic fan of Cats. I just get so many questions. And I can't. I don't
just
understand it.
make sure that somebody knows where you are.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, I've never met one,
Right.
and I don't want that to be the way you go.
Right. So I
No.
feel like just like looking at it, like I can see how young people, like maybe it's one of your first musical experiences and you're into the singing and the dancing. And then also, yeah, there's that weird horniness to it. That's like, oh, when you're a kid and you can kind of get your hands on something that's kind of horny, you kind of go with it sometimes. So I can see how
Yeah.
people kind of get hooked early. But like I feel there's also just like adults who see it for the first time and they're like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
And like the thing that it's like, just from like growing up in the theater community, like I've seen more Cats sweatshirts and hoodies and
Right.
t-shirts than anything else. And it and these are people that go see other shows,
Right.
right? Like I've seen people wear a Cats hoodie to Les Miserables and not buy anything.
Right.
Like, it's just I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like I don't get how this is the Beyonce of musicals.
It does make
Like
sense.
Beyonce, I kind of get, but like
Right.
Cats, no.
Yeah. And I was talking, you're talking about going to see shows. Like I was talking to Dan, he said that in the next like season of the Broadway in Hawaii series or whatever, like they're bringing Cats out here, and also Hamilton and some other stuff and Jersey Boys, and like there's a lot of people with like season tickets. So like they're not going to go to Cats. Like they're all going to sell their Cats tickets. They're going to go see all the other stuff. So it's I want to take everyone that's been part of this and take them out to see Cats when it comes through in 2023 if we're all still here.
I will come back and visit for that. If
My
I'm
wife
not
just
here.
walked past and bonked herself on the head.
She's just really glad that she wasn't a
She
part
hasn't
of that.
participated at all.
Yeah. She was just like, that's it, you're hanging out alone on Christmas because
Yeah.
I don't want to run that risk. Because you've done the two things that should never be combined is a bunch of people that think they're funny
Right.
and Cats
Yeah.
all at the same time. Like that's too much. That's too much.
Yeah. It'll be fun if we all go to the Blaze Zone. It's just us. Like, at the theater to ourselves.
Can we go dressed as something?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm probably gonna wear my whiskers on my Santa hat.
Okay.
I paid $3 for the Santa hat. I get my $3 out of it, worth out of it.
I guess we could all go like, if we all went as the cat that most personifies the one that we did with.
Right.
So like I'll go as the Jew cat. Is there somebody that the only one that they did was that Russian talk show host one?
No, there was
Okay.
everyone repeated that. But Johnny Sparkle's doing Cats on Ice with me tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
And it's German Cats on Ice.
I don't think they're gonna let it. Maybe he wears the ice skates around his. But
Yeah, it's like fake ones with plastic blades. I think it'll be okay.
Oh man, I hope they've got them on their hands and feet and are like, that's
I'm interested. To see.
gonna be something to see.
Yeah,
Like,
especially with Mungo, Jerry, and Rumpelteazer when they're doing all their flipping each other around and stuff. That'll be fun to see on ice.
I mean, I feel like ice capades are like dangerously close to like Cat's level performances at any
Right.
given point in time. Like I
Yeah.
remember when I was a little kid, I went and saw Masters of the Universe
Ooh,
ice capades, and that was pretty cool.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like
Was it a lot of like shirtless guys? 'Cause that feels like it's
yeah, He-Man was in like the fuzzy loincloth. Like I'm
Okay.
sure he was wearing like a full bodysuit. Like
Okay, yeah,
but,
right. That makes sense.
but like no, they were full on like flipping and like skating past each other, sword fighting, like
It's great.
as a like because I mean it was the 80s, it was He-Man and like the height of ice capades at the same time. Like
Yeah,
and I was way too young to know that A, He-Man didn't make any sense. B, ice capades don't make sense. And when you
Right.
combine them, I was just super stoked.
Also, I just read someone important to He-Man died like today
Oh no.
on Facebook. I don't know if it was the creator or what. So I feel bad.
I
I
thought
don't know
you
how
were
to
talking about like Man at Arms or something, and I was like, that's too bad. Like he just got that Netflix show and everything. Which have you watched that yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah.
I've been waiting my opportunity to jump in on that.
Yeah, I'm really bad when it comes to watching the series of stuff. Like if it's a movie, I can sit down and do it. But when it's like I need to put together 6 hours worth, I'm like, no, like it's harder to do that. It's not harder. It's just harder for me to make the time. That's it.
I feel like series are easier for me because like if you're like, hey, do you have an hour and a half? I'm like, I don't. I do not have an hour and a half. But if you're like, you got like 45 minutes, I'm like, I can do that. And then you just keep asking me that small question like 7 times in a row. And suddenly I've given you like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I would have said no to an hour and a half. But like all of Stranger Things season 1, the second time around, like I'll sit down and watch that on accident. So
yeah, I think it's got to be the right show where I can watch it over dinner with my wife and it would be okay. If not, it's harder to find that time. Yeah, so it was Mark Taylor who died. He was the designer of He-Man. Just died today. So rest in peace, Mark Taylor.
Peace.
Yeah.
Also, I just feel like it's important to point out that He-Man also rode a tiger, which is a cat.
Yeah.
Which dovetails nicely with your fundraiser.
Yeah.
Donate to
Cat Friends. Donate to Cat Friends because you know He-Man was a cat's friend.
Yeah.
He was.
And a friend of cats.
Yes.
So,
which I feel like, you know how they used to, they used to say, like, as like a euphemism for like a gay guy, like he's a friend of Dorothy's. Like, do you think they'll say similar things like for like furry people, like have to say like I'm a friend of cats, so that people know like, oh yeah, I like to wear a tail and things when I'm.
Well, I really hope it's not that I'm a dog lover. Because I've said that about myself a lot.
Right.
And I've given a lot of people the wrong impression of
me. Yeah. So you gave those weird DMs.
That's not the only reason. I was a late adopter of the VPN, hiding my identity. So a lot of weird stuff.
One other thing I wanted to bring up about this particular production is at the end, this is the only video I've seen, and really the only time I've really seen it, which is I think maybe because it was the last show from the run. Because at the end of the show, I guess he's the director or whatever, came out with a big list of thank yous for all of the stage managers and crew people and stuff. Costume designer and things, and gave people flowers and stuff. And I guess that makes sense as the last show. That's probably why they did it and why it's in the video. But yeah, that was just interesting to me because I haven't seen that in any Cats video, or I think at any theater. I think I've been to a last show.
I feel like that's a pretty normal thing for a
Okay.
last show.
Right.
Maybe not in like a super professional context. I don't know if I've seen the last show of like a professional
right
big theater production, but I still feel like that's pretty normal.
Okay.
The one thing that like caught me, since you're talking about the beginning, is like when at the beginning when I saw when they pulled up, like he was like super zoomed in on the back of the conductor's head.
Yeah.
Like enough that I was like, this is weird. And then I realized like, oh, this is like a bootleg video. It's not like it's not the theater's video of their last show. It's somebody in the audience.
Right. Just like somebody's husband or something.
Yeah.
Or dad.
I'm assuming husband.
Right.
Just because like I don't feel like a father would be that proud of their adult child.
Yeah. It's a small enough town in Israel. I don't know.
Well, I mean, especially in Israel though, because like you got to think like those parents are like, you have a job in the army, like immediately. You could have just done that.
Yeah.
If this was all you had to fall back on, like go load tanks.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing that speaks to the bootleg quality of this video is that there's multiple times when the songs hit a crescendo or the audience applauds too loud and it just completely blows out the microphone. And, looks up the sound.
I guess like too, maybe it's just because like there's a lot of like weird like vaguely Christian feel to Cats, in my opinion, like with the whole like one of them gets to go to the heaven side layer,
right?
And, like, I was kind of interested where it's like how is this gonna play out in like you know the most Jewy of the Jews doing this. It's like because like I once again I've done like a lot of theater and you get a lot of the most ultra version of a religion doing theater.
Right, I can see that.
Only the most Mormon of the Mormons jump into theater. Only the most Christian of the Christians. Like not like just like you get only like the gayest of the gay and the weirdest. It's like a weird place where all of the fringes meet. So like
well, theater's a fair place. If you're a little extra, that's where you go, right? Like everybody has to be extra. Yeah.
And that's great. I love that about it.
It keeps it interesting.
But I was really like Israel is a place where it's like one minority really is in charge of everything.
Right.
Who are the most extra of the Jews going to play? I mean, I was a little disappointed that I didn't see more like ultra Orthodox Cats, like just walking around. Like this would have been the time. Like,
one of the kids that they gave flowers to, they had thanked. I forget what it was he had done for the production, but he was definitely wearing his yarmulke stuff. Oh yeah, he comes up a little bit. But yeah, he wasn't performing in the show with it on.
Yeah. Like when they brought out Old Deuteronomy, I was like, "This is it. This is the time."
They went full Martian instead of full Jewy.
Which, like, part of me it feels like that was the Orthodoxy just being like, no. But I was still. That was one of the things I was excited about seeing in this, and like seeing how that would play out and finding it playing out as like very Midwestern American high school. Like that was a little bit like, oh, they're just like us, but also they're just like us. Like
Well, one thing I did notice was with the Rum Tum Tugger at the end of his song. I always pay attention to that because I always judge my Rum Tum Tuggers by how how comfortable the actor is with just trying to be as sexy as possible and really shaking his hips around and everything. And during the song, he was moving his hips a lot and everything. But at the end, there's that part where he's moving his hips back and forth, and there's the women on stage sitting on the ground, and they're just following it with their heads. And they cut that out in this one, and they just did something else where he just gave a girl a kiss on the cheek or something at the end. But they didn't have the whole bit about everyone just looking at his crotch while he waved it around. I feel like that might have been a religious conservative decision. Yeah.
And I feel like the sweatpants and everything might have been a part of it too. Like that might have like cut down on the costuming quite a bit. But and I think that's also maybe one of the things that made the thing feel more high school than the theater should have. It felt like the school board at any point in time might be like, you can't have kids doing this.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's you can't have Jews doing this.
By the way, still a little neutered. It wasn't as horny as you usually see.
But yeah, all in all, it was a non-traumatic version of Cats.
Yeah.
But which, you know, I feel like Cats has the opportunity to be traumatic at a moment's notice.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because I was talking to someone about it, and like they were watching the movie, and the moment when they realized like, oh God, I'm attracted to these people. What does that mean for me? Like that shut them down. Like I find this sexy. What's wrong with me?
Right.
So
yeah, like if you go back to watch it, the movie, what's his name? Skimble Shanks, the Railway Cat. Like his dad dancing, it's super horny in that one.
But
yeah. But everyone, donate to Cat Friends. They do help a lot of feral cats with getting them neutered and spayed and stuff, so they can be as horny as they want, and that's why we want the horniest cats possible without the consequences. So please donate to them and help out. Right, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to add about this? You haven't seen the movie yet, you're saying?
I have not seen the movie yet. I didn't want to be in the first round of seeing it, and then when I realized that the first round was just going back to see it over and over again, that's when I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait for it to come out on video.
Right.
And then things don't come out on video; it's all streaming, and they're tracking you. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with people knowing it, so I'm really waiting for somebody else to like bring it by, and then like I can accidentally watch it.
Yeah. Well, around Christmas time next year, Dan Connell, he's trying to do an annual like watch stream that he does through his social media and stuff. So keep an eye out for that next year around this time.
Will do.
That's how I ended up seeing it a few days ago on Saturday. But something else I was gonna say about that. Oh yeah, when it came out, like the last week it was out was for my birthday in 2020, and I was like, oh, I should go see a movie and like invite. It just put out on Facebook, see if anybody wants to come. And only one person showed up, but we saw 21 Bridges instead. But Cats was like my other thing I was considering.
Okay.
And we should have watched Cats.
21 Bridges. I really want to see that. Okay.
It's like the twist at the end, like you see it happen earlier, like what the thing is about the twist, but you don't even realize that that's supposed to be a twist. You're like, oh, this is part of the plot, and then it's like revealed later, and you're like, oh, we weren't supposed to know this because we already knew this. So that's all. It's kind of, but it's a fun action movie. But yeah, it's like they try to get you with something that is not surprising.
All right.
Yeah.
Now I'll know that. I like how you described it. So like, I'll know the movie's ruined when I see the twist happen.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, I'll be like, oh, this is what David didn't tell me about. But the movie really is the one that ruined this for me.
Yeah. So you're gonna see it, and it's not gonna register with you as like, oh, this is supposed to be a twist. It's like this is just
Okay.
the thing that is happening, and then later on, someone's like, this is what happened, and you're like, yeah. That's what I saw happen.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will pass this around and try to get you dancing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Everybody, you gotta hit that $100 donation goal tonight, and then you can see me dance to Buster for Jones. We're at $40 right now out of 100. So
All
got a little
right.
bit of work to do, but it can be done. I believe in
Yeah.
you guys.
Are you gonna be doing the Rum Tum Tugger dance to see how you stack up with the sexy hips?
I might do Israeli version of it where I don't have to do as much hips.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. You know what? Tonight, sure. I'll do. Yeah. I mean, I'll try to do something from tonight's one. But yeah, I'll do Rum
Okay.
Tum Tugger. I'll throw my hips out there. Why not?
All right. Just trying to get us to that goal.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Rory. Thanks
Thank
everybody
you for having
watching.
me anytime.
You have anything you want to plug before we say goodnight?
Nope. Other than I want to see your hips. So,
Oh yeah. So everybody plug my hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for the last night of the 12 Days of Catsmas with Johnny Sparkles talking about German cats on ice, which also is like I think only an hour 15 minutes or something. It's like shorter than a regular version of Cats, so I'm excited for that at least.
Also, I'm just gonna say you went Israeli cats and then German cats like back to back like that. Like it's a little suggestive. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. All right. Good night, David.